You're probably familiar with how the legacy ornamental mill can be used to create custom turnings. Anything turned between centers, such as a column, a spindle, table leg, and so on. In fact, it's one of the most powerful turning systems that you can own. Now we're going to take a close-up look at how to use it to create custom moldings and see why it's one of the most powerful molding machines that you can own. One of the advantages of using the legacy ornamental mill is that you can use standard router bits to create the custom moldings. These router bits are relatively inexpensive and very easy to come by. No matter how picky you are when you select your stock at the lumberyard, whenever you buy rough lumber like this, it's going to have some twist and bow and cup to it. But again, we'll cut the stock to size and then put it into the ornamental mill to machine one side perfectly flat. Here we've installed the horizontal vices. Now we'll just put our stock in here and adjust the clamps. And then we can clamp it in place as we mill this flat. Now if you want to thickness plane it, you can flip it over to this side, reset the plunge depth, and machine it to the thickness that you want. This is a drawing of the molding that we're going to create. You can see that we'll use various router bits at different depths and at different positions to create the profile. We'll start by making this bead right here. Okay, now I've changed my router bit and repositioned it in the y-axis for the next cut. We'll just do the same process. Once we've completed the molding, formed this shape using the various router bits, and I just came back and put this through my table saw and ripped off this edge right here to the desired width. Now we've seen how to use router bits to create moldings. And this is just straight linear molding here. What we'll take a look at next is how to use the same router bits to create a swan neck molding following a template. Now be sure that both split nuts are open so that the carriage can slide along the length and the router back and forth like this. And we'll simply drop that stylus into that first slot in the template out here and begin the cut. Here we're using the template follower upgrade with a drop-in stylus to follow the template. You can either make your own templates out of MDF or check with Legacy for a current list of laser cut templates as shown here. Now to make the second cut, we'll lift the stylus, drag it over to the next slot and lock that in place and do the same thing. Now we'll simply change the router bit and make the next cut. Here you can see the completed profile. All that we have left to do is to cut out the molding using a 2-flute straight cutter. And here we've made a mirror image of the same piece so that we can either join them together to make a continuous molding like this, or we can separate them to create a broken pediment. Now we'll use the optional circle cutting center to create arched or circular moldings using the same router bits. We've completed the first cut. Now we'll position it in the x-axis over 1 inch and make our second cut. Notice that we're not making this all in one pass. We'll take it a couple of passes to get down to our final depth. On this piece here, we've cut the exact opposite. The first piece, we had the big bead to the outside of the circle, like this. On the second one, we put the big bead to the inside. Now we're going to turn a piece of molding that wraps around a corner. So we'll use a block like this. Notice that the grain is going this way, and there's 4 pieces that are joined together, and then we've capped them with this piece of MDF so that we can turn it between centers and machine in here without running the router bit into this drive here. The first step is to simply mill the stock round. When turning stock between centers, you will actually move for each cut along the x-axis instead of along the y-axis like we did on the flat molding. We've put in our first bit and we've set the plunge depth to make this cut. Now we'll just slide the carriage up to 3/4 of an inch along the x-axis and make our first cut. As you can see, we're almost finished creating the molding. Here's what it looks like in the linear stock, and we've made all of these cuts. We're about to make the last one right here. After the part is all turned and then trimmed off, you can break this apart into the 4 sections. And then you can use each corner to return the molding or wrap it around a corner. This will be matched up against just the straight piece of molding here. And here's the swan neck where we could do the same thing. You can actually have it just wrap around the corner like so. The Legacy Ornamental Mill is the most versatile, creative woodworking machine that you can own. It allows you to easily create components that would either require very expensive and difficult to learn CNC machinery, be carved by hand, or all too often simply left out of the design. The versatility of the mill easily makes it the best value in woodworking. In this demonstration we have shown a few of the possibilities when it comes to just creating custom moldings. As you can see, the possibilities are endless and only limited by your imagination. Whether you're a hobbyist just getting started with woodworking or a seasoned pro that wants to maximize profits and give you unlimited design potential, the Legacy Ornamental Mill should be the next investment in your woodworking shop.